Live from the city of Los Angeles. It's your boy. Yes, indeed. Down but never out. It is March 5th, 2024. I'm your host, Dwayne Cofield. This is Drug Dealers to Businessmen podcast. This is the weekly tap in, and I'm tapping in. No, it's been a minute. I understand. I do get it. It's all good, nonetheless. Wait for me a few more people to tap in, man. It's been crazy, man. That's all I have to say, man. And then even before I got on this today, heard some crazy information and news. So, man, it has been crazy. But the good part about it is, in the midst of that, man, we could take a deep breath. And that's kind of when I want to start it off, man. Just taking a real good deep breath, like three really good deep breaths, man. If you can do it with me, man, rock with me. All right, let's go. Now that felt good. Hey man, I wanted to start off with that because that's one of the only things that's keep me sane, man. It's been crazy. I mean, when I tell you like I'm doing one of the hardest things that I've ever done in my life. And I'm not saying that to kind of say like, man, my stuff is more important than anybody else's because I understand your stuff is hard too. But yo, what's up, Clay? Appreciate you checking in, man. This is literally been the hardest thing I've ever done in my life, man. I've never been broker. I've never been more anxious. I've never been more doubtful, right? And then, the thing about it is like when you're going through it, like when you're trying to figure it out, you're trying to put it together, man, it seems like you get to this point. I go back to that book, man. I read this book called Dream Giver, and he talks about the wastelands. And that's that point in between when you're not where you want to be, but you're so far away from where you came that you can't return back. And right now, homie, I am in the wastelands, homie, and I almost quit. One business I did get rid of, man. So I'm not tripping off the hey auntie, how you doing? Thank you for tapping in. I really appreciate that for real. And I got I got rid of that business because just wasn't doing what I needed it to do, and I couldn't split my focus on between the new venture, my teaching, my kids, and all that stuff. So I had to let one go. It's one of those things that I always tell people, I'm like, man, if your hands are full, how can you receive anything, right? So a lot of times we keep our hands so full that we can't receive the gift that God's trying to give us. So a lot of times we got to rid ourselves of whatever gift that is or the perception of that gift. We got to let somebody else have it, man. We can't take everything with us the whole time. And that's being greedy, right? So I had to relieve myself of that business. And that was hard, right? Because I put in blood, sweat, and tears, bought that bus, fixed it up, did everything, washed it. I did everything. I mean, from the maintenance to, I mean, everything, right? And it was to the point where I loved it. Don't get me wrong, I love the people I met. Shout out to my boy Clay who's watching right now. I would have never met Clay had I not done this business, right? So it served its purpose, right? I got my lifelong guys with me, right? But sometimes you got to know when to walk away from things that don't necessarily serve you the way you intended them to serve you, right? It started getting crazy. The insurance started getting da 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 da. So in between that time, I'm like, man, I had to let that go. And then you start to question yourself on almost everything. I mean, everything. The podcast. I'm like, man, should I do this? Because what happens is it's not so much that you're doubting yourself. It's when you start to look around, right? When you start to compare yourself, right? There's always a saying that says, man, I didn't know I was short until I met somebody that was tall. And what I mean by that is you don't know, you think you like, okay, I got some decent numbers, etc. Da, 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 da. And then you go out and see guys who just start their podcast and they got all these guests, and you're like, man, I've been grinding for 7, 8 years on this. Cats won't return my email, whatever the case may be. Even though I got the biggest prize, I got Jay Prince, which was, a big deal. It's a lot of cats I got on there. My guests were lit. Big Y, shout out RIP to Big Y. So I was cool with that. But then you start to second guess yourself, like, what am I really doing? Right? What am I really, really doing? Am I really having an impact on people? Am I just running my damn mouth because I'm bored? Or you start to have all these different questions that you start to doubt yourself and second guess yourself and try to realize, like, what am I doing? You know what I'm saying? Does this matter? Is the work I'm doing matter? Are people listening? Does it have an impact? You question yourself, right? Because you look at numbers, you look at the evidence, and it may not be saying what everybody else says, right? But I have to go back and listen to my own advice. This is the key, right? This is really important right here. Sometimes you have to internalize, and I had to turn this off for a second. I had to stop coming in and checking in and doing all this stuff because I had to go inside and find that fire and that desire, that flicker, right? I had to go inside and give myself some oxygen, right? Because I'm running out. Sometimes the world will suffocate you, right? It depends on what you're going through, but it feels like the world is just closing in on you sometimes. And you're like, man, I got to go inside to get my, what's up, Lewis? Hey, man, you know what's funny though, man? Shout out to Lewis, man. It was his messages. I saw 2 of his messages on YouTube, and he had commented on 2 of the messages, and that was it. I'm telling you, that was the difference right there. So I'm glad Lewis came on here. If it wasn't for his words, you guys might not be hearing from me right now. And I promise you that. And the reason being is because I didn't know if it mattered anymore. I didn't know if what I was saying actually resonated with people. I didn't know if the advice was actually, now, don't get me wrong. My homeboy James would always call me, shout out to the homie, and tell me, hey, D, you know what I'm saying? And always let me know, hey, man, your advice is I'm listening. I don't care if nobody else is listening. I am. And I'm taking it and I'm running with it, man. He's working on his second truck right now. So you'll be seeing him on here pretty soon, right? So shout out to the homie James. But back to Lewis, right? I saw those words at a time when I'm sitting up there like, man, what is this? You know what I'm saying? You really get to that point. And you hear those words like, hey, man, I need a video. You ain't stopped doing these, are you? Because I'm listening. And that right there, dog, you know what I'm saying? Because the thing about it is I get my inspiration from God and other people, humans. I watch you guys too. But at the same time, I get my inspiration from God. And sometimes you like, man, you thinking that he ain't there. You know what I mean? And yeah, man, I appreciate that, Lord. That's the thing, man. It's like, almost like an artist. I don't want to call myself an artist, but the old stuff, like that's what I was going through during that time. And everybody, the unique thing about individuals, everybody has a story, and your story is uniquely yours, right? People can find inspiration from it, but you can go back and look at during that time when I going in between jobs, when I was first starting the business, when I was doing cannabis delivery, when I was still doing a podcast. I was still trying. I'm still putting out YouTube videos. I was still pushing content. And I'm like, man, is anybody listening? Because you see the numbers. You're like, man, these numbers. But then I went back and looked, right? So I've been following the dude who's doing the smoked oxtails, man. Shout out to Les Barbecue, right? And I watched his stuff and I'm like, and this is one of the problems that happens when we start looking to the left and to the right. So when I looked at his videos, I'm like, man, dude got mad views, right? That's as of with the last probably 6 months. His early stuff looked like mine, right? 10 views, 10, 15 views, 12 views. You know what I mean? And it wasn't on 154,000. It wasn't none of that. And the thing what I noticed, and like he said, he was barbecuing, doing sandwiches, and he just tried something different. He said, let me try to smoke these oxtails. And listening to his story just really inspired me because at the same time, I'm going through something right now. We're doing a restaurant build out. I am broke. You know what I'm saying? But it's part of the process. It's part of the process. And I realized that listening to his story, he was like, man, I was cooking stuff for a restaurant and I was right in between. And It was ugly and hairy. And I'm like, man, been there. I remember telling you guys stories when we was getting our cars repoed, right? So I've been there. This is new ground for me, right? Because I've been broke before, but not like this. This is and what I mean by that is not broken in a literal sense, but broke like I don't have extra money. All my money goes to this restaurant, literally. You know what I mean? And then you still don't have enough. Right? So like, oh my God. Um, oh man, you know I got you, Clay, all day, baby, all day, homie. My uncle's actually in the Bahamas right now, but I'll send you a message on that other stuff. But that's the thing, right? So I got to keep going. I got to still motivate myself. I just sent something to my contractor, like, hey man, I need a picture of what is to come because I'm losing my vision. I am actually losing. Yeah, I'm losing. What's going on, Sammy? Man, appreciate you tapping in. ATL. But I'm like, homie, I'm losing my vision. Why? Because I'm in this zone. I'm in this zone where it's just cloudy. None but bills chasing me around. It's crazy. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, man. So I'm still trying to put on my face for my kids. I'm like, I still got to teach. So I got to go to class. I'm still talking to them. And you know what I'm saying? And the funny part of what's going on, Tanisha, everybody tapping in. I appreciate you guys. You know I wasn't gonna leave y'all hanging, man. Shout out to Lewis. You guys need to thank Lewis, man, because if it wasn't for his words, I don't know. But yeah, man. So I'm sitting up there like, man, I'm asking him, like, man, send me the 3D so I can at least see it because you almost start to lose your vision when it gets and the enemy knows it too. The enemy knows it. He's like, oh, got him, right? Boom, bang, bing, bing, bah, right? I'm gonna send it. I'm gonna send it. I'm gonna keep sending and I'm gonna apply pressure, right? He understands, or at least he thinks he understands, that when you're down and out, tired, exhausted, you don't think about the resources that you already possess. You're thinking about the resources that you don't have. But if you go back and look and you know what? No, 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 no. You can't fool me. Everything God told me, everything that I need, I already have. Everything I need, I already have. So I have a camera, I have a microphone, I have an audience, I have a word from God. That's all I need right now. Most of the time we get caught up where our angst comes in is when we start thinking about the future, or the depression starts to get in when we think about our past, right? The things we can't do anything about. But if we stay in this moment, right? If I know, okay, this is my gift right here with them, this camera, this mic, and God, how many lives can we change? Right? And he sends them, right? Because I was sitting there telling my wife, I just sent her a message yesterday. I'm like, man, I don't know if I made the right decision. This comes in play. Did I do the right thing? I don't know if I did the right thing. This might have been my bad. I might have effed this one completely up. This is what you start to think about, right? When you making moves and you really gamble on yourself, you start to put the real meat to the. You like, you know what, man? I'm putting everything on me. Bet on black, and I'm black. Shit, when that ball gets to rolling, that's all I'm gonna say. You like, If I don't hit, I'm gonna put in an application for this casino before I leave, right? You know what I'm saying? Because that's it. I don't have anything else, and that's what I'm doing right now. You know what I'm saying? And at the same time, I'm still actively pursuing my PhD, which is crazy to even think that I could pull two of the most difficult things in the world off. Man, who am I kidding, right? So this is the process that I'm dealing with. Two of the hardest things I've ever done in my life, and I still got to motivate y'all. Man, my man, I'm going through it. I'm crispy. I'm mad. You know what I'm saying? I'm disappointed, right? But God sends those confirmations. So when I'm telling my wife this yesterday, I'm like, man, did I do the right thing? She goes to the dojo. Well, my son does karate, Kaji Kimbo. It's a whole thing, right? He does his thing, and they just finished their build out, right? It took them about a year. And the professor up there, which is his professors, we friends with his family. He talked to my wife, and he was like, the crazy part about it is, it's going to be times where you feel like you second guessing and questioning yourself, where you feel like, did I do the right thing? So when that happened, that's the message I sent yesterday. She got that confirmation from him yesterday evening. Homie, I knew God was talking. He like, I got you. I'm going to send somebody to let you know your thought is not off, that we all think this when we going through it, so you'll be comforted. And sure enough, man, I was like, what? She was like, yup. And he was talking about the accounts. Man, you're going to look at your bank account. I looked at three of my bank accounts, and they all look the same. Man, I'm like, man, how are we going to be dealing with positive and negatives when we're talking about money? You know what I'm saying? I thought that was only in algebra, right? You know what I mean? But it's real. And it's going to, oh my God, it's going to damn near break you, right? And then I think back to that Nipsey Hussle, right? When he talked about that, he said, man, I went through every emotion that everybody else went through. I went through all of them. Highs, lows, everything. Said the one thing that made me different and successful is I didn't quit. That was it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not any better than these other cats. They're not any better than me. It's just the fact that I didn't tap out. And I'm sitting there saying to myself, homie, oh, we close. Oh, we are close. Oh, we close. And you start to like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And then you get it to the point to where shit, you burn the boat. And you say, I'm all in anyways. It has to work. Right? It has to work. There's no other option. It has to work. Sink or swim, and I'm not sinking. If I don't learn how to swim, I'll perfect the backstroke by the time I get to shore. Period. Me and God will get that together, homie, because I refuse to lose. It's not happening. It's not in the DNA. It's not in the plans. You know what I'm saying? So what are we talking about the L for? What we got to do is find these other inspirational stories. Boom. Month ago, I see another successful chicken restaurant in LA just pop on, right? Honey Kettle, watching you going through YouTube. All right, his thing come on. He started talking about his situation. When he first got in the game, his first restaurant was a franchise Golden Bird in Compton. Within 4 months, it burns down. Like, damn. Burns down. Now he's got to figure out how to get another restaurant. He done got all this money invested. And I'm sitting up there like, boom. And then he start talking about how his checks done bounced, right? 2 or 3 times. My wife remembers because he was sitting there watching it with me. Man, his check bounced 2 or 3 times. I'm like, He didn't say 4 because I think mine's going on the 4th, right? But this is the thing. The beauty in it is that you find these relatable stories, right? These relatable circumstances that oftentimes we think we're by ourselves, right? We think that we're the only ones going through this thing. Like, man, shit, I suck. Now here I am, damn near, I'm calling myself, pursuing a PhD in business, and I can't get a business cracking. Damn, right? But it's not like that. It's not like that. What it is you got to try a lot, right? And everything isn't going to pop for you, right? That's the key, right? You got to embrace the suck, right? If you go back, I got an episode called Embrace the Suck that I talk about that. Things are going to be trash, homie. It's just, it is what it is. It's your attitude, right? When we talk about, we can go back to Charles Swindoll, right? 90% of what happens to you, you know what I'm saying? I mean, 90% of how you react to it, 10% of what happens to you. Period. It's not about what happens to you, it's what you do about it. So what am I doing about it? I had to dig. I got to dig deep, man. I already got the tools. I've been collecting these tools for this situation my entire life. Everything I've done to this point has been setting me up for this situation right here. You've been to the behind the wall. You've been over here. You've been scraped. You've been broke, right? You've been had to start over. All these things, and I got documentation. I took notes the whole time, right? The whole time I'm going through it. The one thing I did do was write down my stuff. Then the reason being is so that I can go back and refer to it like, B, you've been here before, homie. This is not new to you. It may look different. The circumstances may be different, but the structural situation is the same, right? You up against an odd. How do you overcome it? Irrespective of what the odd is, you've overcome other odds before. Why is this one different and unique? Because you've never seen it before? Shit, get back to what you know. How did you handle the other giants? right? You handled those properly. So how did you handle the other giants? Okay, we'll go back to the script. What's different? You may need to make some adjustments, but the circumstances are the same. You're up against an odd. How do you overcome it? You can't quit, right? You can go up it, you can go over it, you can go around it, you can go through it. Get your Marshawn Lynch on, straight punches right through the mouth, right? You could do that too. But quitting is not an option. Never has been. Not quitting, dog. I will make moves, right? I'll take this to move into that, right? So the bus bought a bunch of shit for the restaurant, but I ain't tap out. I'm moving on to something different. But I tell you, man, I can't stress it enough. It gets ugly and hard. So what you need to do is make an inventory of the resources that you have. You have to remember what you have. God gave it to you a long time ago. It could be books. I got a book from my sister-in-law, I think this Christmas. Looked at it once on Christmas, picked it up again when I'm sitting here meditating, trying to figure it out. I look down, it's right there. It's perfect for me. It helps me with the meditation, sit down, write some stuff out. Like, man, this thing is gravy. I'm gonna take it with me when I go on my conference this month. I'm gonna write in and I'm gonna get my thoughts together. This is perfect. So you already have the tools. Believe me, somebody's already given it to you, right? You've been exposed to a podcast. You have access to YouTube. Oh man, that's enough right there. There's so much inspiration on YouTube. Not only with me, other cats as well, right? Other cats can show you other games where you can learn things. This is not the get rich quick scheme podcast. This is the, hey man, I'm almost out of gas. I need some inspiration podcast. That's what this does. This is the, man, I need a good word. Man, go press play on any of them, dog. They should work for you because I was going through all kind of shit during that time. Still going through all kind of stuff. So it depends on what you're going through. You need to find it because it's in one of these episodes, man. We had 100-some episodes. Believe me, it's in there somewhere, right? And I'm not saying just listen to my podcast, listen to other ones as well. I've suggested Tim Ferriss and some other things too, just to stretch your imagination, right? There's a lot of things that I've done in the last probably month or so that have been positive as well. I've developed more of a reading habit. So I'm reading a lot more, not only my recreational reading, but I'm reading academically too. So I'm doing that pretty much on a regular basis, trying to practice and get myself prepared for the PhD, all that kind of stuff, or at least what I'm getting ready to potentially go through. So yeah, that's hard, right? And then you're looking around, right? I remember that too. I remember I felt like this when I made the transition out the game. Broke as I don't know what. I mean, broke like shit. Couldn't get a job. The little job I had, child support was whooping me, and I had the kid. It was crazy, right? It was bizarre. But anyway, so dealing with that, it taught me a lot during that time. You can still function and have fun. It's not always about that, right? Because during that time, I played golf a lot with my son. We went to the pool a lot. We played football also. There was other stuff to do, right? But during that time, you're looking around and you're seeing everybody else win, especially when you just leave a game, right? You leaving the game, you're seeing all these cats. They get cars, rims. You're like, man, damn, I need to get back cracking. No, you don't. No, you don't. Stay tuned, right? And then you start to see the downsides to it. Cats getting killed. One of my partners got killed. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, man, and he was one of the ones that I was looking at when I got out the game. Like, damn, you still got it like that, huh? Man, money, all that stuff. And I'm like, bank account negative 35. And I used to be, I thought I was pretty significant in the game. You know what I'm saying? But you could see how it just kicks you out and leaves you like that. But God doesn't leave you hanging. He'll show you what you missed from a negative standpoint, right? Here's what you didn't want, right? And when I saw that happen to my partner, I'm like, man, I'm glad I'm not in that game. I don't have that on my head, right? But now I'm making a transition into something else. I'm going from cool entrepreneur to some hard physical stuff. Then I'm going from kind of MBA to heavy, thick academia. You know what I mean? And I'm still working on my vocabulary. So this is one of those sessions where I'm like, homie, I'm really talking to the universe like, dog, you ain't taking me out, man. You might have knocked me down It might be hard right now, might be ugly, you know what I'm saying? But my dreams ain't. Period, homie. I'm not tapping out. I'm not quitting. I'm not quitting this. Period, homie. I'm gonna try to bring more guests on here that are living their dreams. So you guys can get inspired by different areas, right? I got 2 or 3 guests that I got lined up, homie. Period. You know what I'm saying? God sent them to me. I done said enough. Now I need to pull some stuff out of these other cats. That's what time it is. That's what we're getting ready to do. And it doesn't matter. You listen now, you listen later. Doesn't matter. God will give it to you when you're supposed to have it. I got books. I got, you know what I mean? I haven't stopped reading in terms of recreational. I use my tools all the time, dog. You feel me? And then not only that, I'm gonna tell you what else God sent me. So as I'm sitting there wondering, like, man, how am I gonna pull this off? It's the hardest shit, this and this and that. Tavis Smiley not only has another guest that I've heard before, a brother who turned himself from the streets to a rocket physicist, and his story. He just happened to be on here. I didn't listen to him again because I know his story, but the fact that God sent him to say, hey, you think that what you're doing is hard? This shit is hard. Astrophysics and all that stuff, that's hard. And if he could turn his life around and flip it, what's going on, Joe? Appreciate you tapping in. If he can go on there and flip it like that, let me remind you that these cats exist out here, dog. Just when you thought you were the only one going through something hard, they're out here. And God will send you your confirmation messages the entire time if you're paying attention, right? Don't fall into the prey of getting with somebody who's easy or whatever the case may be because they're available. Because once you mention that you're going through some stuff, they're either going to motivate you or tell you their problems. Then you guys get into a pity party. So keep it to yourself, which is why I didn't really talk that much about it. Because I'm like, nobody wants to hear your problems besides, I think, what they say, the priest and your doctor. That's about it. Other than that, nobody cares. But in the flip side of things, I'm using my story to tell you guys whatever you're going through, if the enemy's on your neck as well, don't quit, right? I saw something. It was a video on Facebook, and it showed a guy that was trying to pump water. And a lady next to him pumped some water, and a little bit came out. And he was like, she left. So he's pumping his and nothing's coming out. So he's like, you know what? And at the bottom, he can't see it, but we can on the video. He's got a big reservoir. She's got a little bitty reservoir. And he's pumping, and it's about to come up, and he quits. And he goes to start to pump hers because it looks like she has it. But at the bottom, you can see she doesn't have that much water. She pumped the last little bit out of it, but he's thinking, you know what? Let me give up on mine. Let me try hers. And how many times have we done that? Let me give up on mine. Let me try their hustle, right? When we were on the brink of the story of the acre of diamonds, right? Guy had heard it was a diamond mine somewhere, tried, gave up. Other guy came, brought the property, cracked it next day. So a lot of times you're right there, right? You are right there. It just, all you need to do is just turn it up just a little bit. Just a little bit additional effort. That's it. Just a little bit. You add that to the spot. And that's what I had to do. I had to get back to myself. Man, you ain't doing, you got the enemy taking you out your routine. You ain't helping anybody anymore. You sitting there worried about your selfish shit. You ain't helping nobody. Not even realizing your story, going through what you're going through. If you share it, you can inspire them. So I had to check myself like, yo, D, you just gonna keep this to yourself, dog, and not use it? You going through it for a reason, homie. God didn't take you through this just to say, man, go ahead, dog. You just gonna go through some shit. No, share it, dog. You share it so that people know that they're not by themselves. Because if Honey Kettle didn't share it, if Les didn't share it, I would have thought I was by myself in this world. Like, damn, homie, am I the only one doing this, taking L's? Hell nah. Everybody was on the brink of brokenness before they really made it. You can hear that in every story. That's one of the guaranteed fabrics of success is failure. Over and over again. And I failed. I can name off how many times I failed. And I talk about it. I talk about it in my classes. So that's one thing why a lot of students relate to me, is because I share that. Like, man, I got to see, and it was unnecessary, right? Or just share something like that. But those are the kind of things that people find relatable. So yeah, I come in here and tell you guys, man, this shit's expensive. I'm falling. I'm broke. I told you about my repo days, right? All these things, but these are relatable things, right? You thinking that the things you're keeping secret can really help people, right? Because they think that they're alone going through that. Oh man, I'm the only one got my car repo. I'm the only one feels disappointment and da 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 da. No, you're not. No, you're not. I wish more people would share. Oh man, you can't let people know. Why not? What we keeping secrets for, homie? This can actually help somebody if I get my ego out the way, dog. Because that's really what it is. And that was even on this tip. It was like one of the reasons why I felt like I was failing because my ego is telling me, man, you ain't getting the likes, you ain't getting the views. That's ego tripping. You comparing yourself to these cats when you're here for a specific mission. It might be to turn one homie around. That's it. The whole 150 episodes or 200 episodes turns one homie around. Does that work? Is the job done? Did I do what I intended to do? Absolutely, homie. You know what I'm saying? And that's all it takes. One homie. That's the only thing when I used to be in juvenile talking. Get one cat to do his goals. One, just one. And I bring poster paper the whole nine. You know what I'm saying? Just one. I got a bag of Sharpies. They be trying to get me for my Sharpies to tag stuff up, but it's all good. But that's it, homie. I'm just trying to move one needle. That's it, homie. And I know, you know what I'm saying? And it's not, the way everybody else presents it, but this is the way I do it. You know what I'm saying? I'm just transparent and being me. But what I will do for you guys is bring more people on. So I'll do that, man, because I think you guys learn a lot from my guests, and I'll get more technical in that sense. Yeah, we're gonna have us a good 2024, homie. We getting ready to talk. We getting ready to accomplish our goals, and this part of it, this non-sexy man, I can't get out of this shit type mentality is part of the process. That's what make you who you are, right? That's when you see that entrepreneur, that person, when they went through the fire, they got this essence of coolness to that ass. How did they get it? Because they've seen it all. They've been through it. They're like, man, nothing phases me, man. What? Nothing phases me. And you start believing that, like I'm him, not in the ego sense, but man, what's next? Man, it's me and God. I'm on a spiritual journey, homie. All this other stuff don't matter. It may seem like it does, and it's supposed to inflate itself to where it does, seem like it's supposed to distract you, but you got to punch that stuff on. Don't have no weight to it. It's just a myth. It's just a thing of smoke. It too will go past, right? This too shall pass. Yeah, it will. So whatever you're going through, I can dig it. I'm going through it too. Mine's different though. Still, nonetheless, something. So I'm not negating or minimizing what you're going through because it could be just as heavy, right? A flat tire can break somebody, and we may not think it's shit. You know what I'm saying? But it can break somebody if there's only last dollar on a flat tire. I barely got a gas to go to work. Shit. You know what I'm saying? For real. So, with that being said, homie, we back, dog. We on. So don't trip. I ain't going nowhere, man. We about to keep it coming. And I understand we all going through stuff. I'm digging. I'm watching stuff. I'm praying. That's one thing I'm doing a lot more too is more prayer. Fuck talking. Get on my knees and get to asking God, homie. Because a lot of times we think we got the solutions, but it's God who possesses it all. We just need to get to praying, and prayer works. Do the work, pray, and wait for the results, homie. Period. That's it. That's the magic recipe. So I got to share, of course, I got to share books with you guys, man. I've been reading, bought a few books. Some of them you guys may have seen before, but let me get to my Audible just to show you guys what time it is. So yeah, man. Hope all been well. Try to give you guys some. Try to come with it today. A little half an hour, some light you up, get you act right, get you there, get you motivated. Let's go out here and smack the world. Now, You guys might like these. I think you will. At least the last one that I bought was pretty good. Let's see. Here we go. All right. Let's see. There we go. So my top one, the one that I just read, I mean, I listened to probably about almost 3 times, is this one called Practical Optimism. And I think I might have shared that one on the Drug Leaders Businessman page, but it's really, really good. You can see I just started it over again. So that's probably one I would recommend. It just came out. It's a doctor, but some good stuff in there. I also got Unreasonable Hospitality, which is really good as well. It's just about um, mainly about restaurant hospitality, just over delivering stuff like that. What else did I grab? I think I told you guys about High on the Hog. Now, these are the ones I'm re-listening to, and I would recommend you guys may start with some of these. Right, they're religious based, but they're really, really good. This one especially because you go through stuff and it's like, man, but these two, I would say get started with those. Those are um, really, really good listening. I subscribe to Audible, so it's a little bit different. So I get these. I'm almost forced to buy a book every month, which is a good habit, right? A really, really good habit. But I want you guys to start dropping some questions, man. I want you guys to hopefully, if I can get this guest on, man, the dude is dope. He's got some really interesting information, and a lot of times, like I said, the guys that I bring on, either around that or been around that and can speak to it. And you guys know what I mean by that. So, without further ado, man, I don't know if I have anything else for you guys right now, but I sure got a lot for you though next week. So make sure you guys share this video. Hit the subscribe button if you are new to the game. Pass it on. Make sure you hit the notifications because I might start dropping impromptu videos on YouTube. So make sure you guys subscribe to that. Might drop some 1-minute bombs on you guys every now and then. Start to bring that out a little bit more because I do have random thoughts. I may put them in a post, but I may start posting more videos as well. So make sure you guys hit the subscribe for that. Share this, man, and always, always, always be reading, man. Please do not neglect that reading. I don't care if you don't like it, listen. But the game is in the books, homie. All right? Tapping out.